Good afternoon. It's time for yet another NFL Bucky's Mill Day. This is your host, Mike C. Survived New Year's. And of course, start the show as always. It's Bucky. Say hi, Bucky. Bucky says hi. And Bucky survived the New Year's too. I wish everybody a happy New Year. Hope you had a safe and joyous time and had a good time. Didn't drink too much. We did absolutely nothing. We stayed in, watched the countdown, had some eggnog at midnight, and a couple of kisses, and that was great. That's perfectly fine. New Year's Eve is a singles person, I believe, date. You know, when I was single, I used to love to go out for New Year's. Never really had any luck, if you know what I mean. But it was still a good time, and but yeah, I'm too old for that. I think. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't say that, but it's a singles time out, and we had a good time. The next day, we watched a ton of football, some great games. The Rose Bowl was fantastic. Congratulations to Michigan, and it was a great game. And Alabama played well. They were in control for a while. They started the second half, but Michigan made adjustments, and they'll be facing because the second game was interesting too. Washington Huskies and the Texas Longhorns, and that was a very good game. Washington had that game in the bag. I mean, I almost stopped watching, and all of a sudden, Texas came roaring back and had a chance to win the darn thing at the very end. They threw a corner pass, which is very difficult to catch. But so it'll be Michigan versus Washington, both undefeated teams, 1-2. You can't ask for a better matchup than that unless you're Georgia. But so congrats to those. That'll be next Monday. So Monday night actually. So congrats to those two teams and a great college season. The other team that played the other day was the Badgers. They were up 14-0 over LSU, and then LSU came back. They had a lot of talent. Even though their Heisman Trophy winning quarterback did not play. But they lost 35-31, and they had a great chance to win. They probably should have won, but they missed a field goal. They missed an extra point, and that was pretty much it. And instead of getting a touchdown, they settled for another field goal, and that was that was a big difference. They would have won that game if they had made all their points. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. Great season. Well, I'll say a great season. Next year it will be better. You got a lot of portal players coming. The coaches that are there now, I think, are better recruiters, and I think they're trying to make a big move next year. So we'll see. Big Ten did okay. Ohio State lost, which was kind of a surprise. Penn State lost, which was another surprise. Maryland did okay. Minnesota won, and so they did okay. Again, the big game is next week with Michigan. So we'll see. It should be a very, very good game. The two quarterbacks are possible Minnesota Viking quarterbacks. We'll see what happens with that. Speaking of the Vikings, first, Bucky, what do you have in front of you? I got ahead of myself. In the middle, Bucky's got two screwdrivers because the Lions got screwed by the ref. Brad Allen was his name. And there's talk, I haven't seen anything yet as far as confirmation, but is Crude not to be allowed to be in the playoffs? They're talking about firing him. Well, maybe. He's had some other instances that he's not been the best. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe I'll post that in my comment section later. But it was just they got the 2-point conversion. Well, first it was, offside, and then Dallas got a penalty, and then they got the 2-point conversion, and the whole tackle eligible, and it was not hurt. It was not. I mean, it's all a big mess. And they tried again. They came up short. But they played a very good game. They weren't excessive as far as offense goes. The defense played pretty good, I thought, to hold Dallas to 20 at home. And Lions head coach says, we're not going to talk about it anymore. We're going to use it for fuel for the next game and the next game. High octane fuel and more cliches, more poster board material, and we'll see what happens. They play the Vikings next in Detroit. They should be fired up. They're going to play their starters. They're not finished, but we'll see what happens there. On the other side is Bucky. I got a treasure chest, and that's because the Badgers played in, they used to call it Raymond James Stadium. I'm not sure if they still do, but it's the ship that's got, or the stadium that's got the big pirate ship, so that's why I put that there. Now the Lions scenario, they're third because they lost to Dallas. They can't finish first because San Francisco already has. If Dallas loses and Philadelphia loses and the Lions win, they still can get into the second. That's a tall order. The most likely to finish third, and the chances are, and what the NFL wants, is the Lions to play the Rams. And of course, Matthew Stafford. Jared Goff and the whole, they traded, they got rid of him, they didn't want him anymore. So there's a huge, drama set up for that matchup. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind that. Stafford's a Ram now. He's won a Super Bowl. Lions should be fired up, but they got to get through Minnesota first and see what happens. They could play Dallas again in the next round if they win. Of course, if Dallas wins. So we'll see what happens. But it's been a long season, but it's been a lot of fun. And it ain't over yet, guys, so we'll see what happens. Otherwise, there's not too much else to report. So we stayed inside for New Year's and had eggnog at midnight. That's exciting. It was very good eggnog. And so I watched a lot of football. Carla got bored and she went downstairs for a while, which is okay. So I think that's about it, Bucky. Oh, we had 19 views last week for Bucky's Melody, which is very good. Like 10 more than last week. I didn't quite get to 20. I just checked like 2 minutes ago. But 19 is very good. And we'll be back next Monday instead of Tuesday because of the holidays. And so we're still working on, the playoffs. And we'll see what happens there. We'll know, they'll probably play. Well, this week they're going to play just a regular Sunday game at noon. I don't know the rest of the schedule because nobody knows the teams are going to play. But that'll be next. We got to get through this week first. And got to beat the Vikings and eliminate them. Vikings have 3 quarterbacks, which means they have none. They played terrible. The Packers just dominated them. And some people say the Vikings quit. That's always shaky when they do that. They started quarterback, they benched him, put another one in, and he didn't do any better. And it's just not a good situation. I think the current or the next year's Vikings quarterback is not on the team. If that's Kirk Cousins, if that's Russell Wilson, there's talk about Russ going to the Vikings. Well, I would not like at all because went to Wisconsin and I hate to root against him, but the Vikings I have to. But I don't think the current or next year's quarterback is on the current staff of the Vikings. That's just my opinion. Could be wrong. But I think that's about it, Bucky. So again, hope everyone had his fun. Excuse me, damn it. Had a fun and safe New Year. Before I lose my voice, say goodbye, Bucky. Bucky says bye. And we'll catch you next week. Hope 24 is good for everybody. And it's up to a good start. So we'll see you next week, next Monday, and like if you like what you see, obviously, but I'm not going to beg for likes and subscribers and all. You know that. All right, bye now.